Thanks a lot for having us.
Okay,
Thanks a lot for
so
having this. Yeah,
yeah, no problem. So let's start, Vipul, with your interview session today.
sure,
Okay. So can you
sure.
just let me brief introduction about your, implementations, what kind of knowledge you have in Salesforce development, admin, not in detail, but I just want to understand where you have,
Yeah.
where you stand in Salesforce actually.
Yeah, sure, Rahul. So I am having total 5.5 years of IT experience, around like 5.5, and I have been working on Salesforce admin also from the start, and Salesforce development. I have approx 3 years of experience. So relevant experience in Salesforce is 3 years, where I have worked on Apex and integrations as well, and LWC. I have also configured Salesforce using flows, process builders, and admin configurations as well. So for LWC, I have 2 years working experience, and in integration, I have been working only from like 1.5 years. Yeah,
Okay, okay, great. So like on which cloud basically you have worked?
sales and service cloud implementations. I have more worked towards, mostly dealing with objects like cases, opportunities, accounts, and custom objects. Yeah,
Okay. So people, one more thing, as nowadays AI is it's in trend, right? And Salesforce also introduced
sure.
couple of things in terms of AI. So do you have any awareness about that? Like you have completed any certification, AI specialist or AI associate?
As of now, I have not completed any AI certification, but I have registered for them as they are also free till the end of 2025. So I will be surely attending their exam soon.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
And one thing I was just want to understand from you is, so
sure.
let's say you schedule an exam for Salesforce, right? And there are many
Yeah,
exams, developer admin. So I hope you also have some certification in your bucket, right?
yeah. I have four.
So let's say if you schedule an exam, so how you are going to prepare for that exam?
Okay. I mostly prepare from trail for that exam, particularly from the trailheads and
Hmm.
YouTube,
Okay. Okay, great.
and also from Google as well. Yeah,
Okay, so as you said, like you also work on the LWC component side, right?
yeah.
So let's say you already have an, LWC components in your org, I mean the client org. So now you got a
Mm-hmm.
task, you need to optimize an LWC component that makes a multiple Apex call and causes performance issue. So how would you optimize that, that kind of LWC component in your org?
Okay.
Did you got my
So
question?
for
I'm just repeating my question again. How do you
sure.
optimize an LWC component that makes a multiple Apex call and cause a performance issue?
Okay. So I will try so that LWC component is mostly making LWC making Apex calls. So I
Mhm.
will try to check the Apex code where it's making the call. So I will also try to check that refactor that code if possible, like optimizing the SQL queries, utilizing in the Apex code, or if the best practices are there present in the batch in the Apex code, like the basic best practices like no DML inside the for loops,
Mhm.
no inner for loops and all. So firstly, I will try to check that all the Apex code, whichever it is code calling, all
Okay.
those Apex classes are optimized, and
Mhm.
then I will come back to the query. I will also check the queries, like how much data the queries are returning, and then
Mhm.
on the LWC side, I will also try to check like how much data are we presenting on the UI at once, if it's
Mhm.
presenting all the data at once, or like few chunks of data on the screen on at one time, like using easy loading and all. So I will progress in this way basically.
Okay. Okay. So let's move to the next question. As you said, like you also work on the integration part, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you secure an external API call out from Salesforce? What are the ways, to
Abs-
secure external API call out from Salesforce?
Okay, so for a secured API callout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for a secured API callout, I mostly try to use OAuth authentication mechanism. And in our projects, we mostly use named credentials
Hmm.
where we define the base endpoint URL and the authentication URL. So
Hmm.
that also we store our client ID and credentials in the credential, external named credential. So from this client ID and client credential, or we can sure generate an authentication token which will help us to authenticate with the third party without the need of sharing user ID or user credentials with the third party. So using this token, basically we can make the systems communicate securely with each other.
Okay. Okay. Let's move to the next question.
Sure.
So as you aware, right, we have a couple of ways to, in asynchronous Apex, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when should you use batch Apex, when you should use queuable Apex, and when you want to use feature method? I mean, you got some,
Mm-hmm.
some scenarios or some requirement from the client, and you have these all three, approach to solve your problem. But how you will you select, as per the
Select,
requirement?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So, like, okay, so for coming to the first one, that is batch effects, that is the most used. I have you make the use of asynchronous effects in the batch effects itself. So, if my data is very large, data set is very large on which I am working, and I want that it should not hamper my performance,
Mhm.
but also should get executed in a separate thread, and depending like the data is large, so I in that scenarios I will be using my batch apex mostly.
Mhm.
And future method I will be using to like where I want the that my execution is not dependent on some result being returned by the some method. Then I
Mhm.
will try to put some logic in that type of logic in future method, so that our actually running code is not dependent on that, but that logic will also get performed in some separate thread
Mhm.
soon when the future method is getting executed. Okay, but in future method I won't be doing that processing asynchronously which is working on a very large data sets, because that can also cause some issues. So for basically large data set I will be going to batch apex, and for if I want small processing in which needs to be done separately, then for that I will prefer future method. And queuable I will prefer only where I in those scenarios where I need that there should be a chaining mechanism present in Salesforce. Like first, a particular job should be done asynchronously, and then after completion of that, second job, and then third. Here I am expecting a queuable thing like chaining mechanism.
Mhm.
So that part I would be doing from queuable Apex only. As per my experience, I have used batch Apex mostly and future methods also, but I haven't used Quable Apex as of till now in my experience. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Let's move to the next question. I hope you also work on the flow side, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have worked on flows side as well and process builder. All the
Okay.
processes are now
Yeah,
depreciated.
that is
Yeah.
retired, right, by the Salesforce.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
the question is from Salesforce flow. Let's say you already have a one flow, right, in your system,
Sure.
and your flow is failing due to too many SQL, or you can say, sorry, too many DML rows error, right? How would you fix it?
D
Yeah,
okay, so it is failing from too many DML.
yeah, DML rows error. How would you fix it?
Okay, too many DML rows error.
Yeah.
So for that, I will
First of all,
exit.
I
Yeah,
would, I would understand from you is like why this error is coming. I mean, what your understanding, why you are getting this error in your flow, because then only you will be able to solve this problem, right?
yeah,
First, you
yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
understand the issue. Yeah.
It's basically not mixed DML error. It is not mixed DML error. It is too many DML rows, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah. So I think it's occurring because we are trying to make a DML, but the count of records is too much.
Okay.
So there is the governor limit is getting hit.
Right.
That's correct, right?
Right.
Yeah. So to solve this problem, I will in the flows also I will check that it's bulkified or not. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we can use for loops inside flows and then make our flow bulkified. So basically, to solve this issue in flows, I will try to use bulkification. If
Mm-hmm.
that also doesn't is not solving my issue, then I will try to get that things processed in some different manner, like through a subflow maybe, so that
No,
that
see, the
subflow.
problem, I think
Yeah.
you did not understand this problem. The problem is too many DML rows error, right? So if you
Right, right.
understand is DML means like you have some DML operation update, create, delete, or insert, right?
Correct,
So
correct. Yeah.
if you see this, they are saying too many DML rows error. So that means something they are updating inside the loop. So they are not using the collection variable. They are doing it for single variable, right? So that's what
Right,
it's,
right, right, right.
so they have to make it okay. Anyways, I think you
So
also have Apex badge
yeah.
of from the flow you can call from there as well. That's not an issue.
Okay, okay. So you are saying that for the flow, apart from bulkification, we should also see that the collections are getting used in the flow, right?
Right.
And and also if that's not solving, then we should call some batch from the flow to handle that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thanks for sharing this, Rahul. Got your point now. Yeah.
No problem. So let's move to the next question. So
Yeah.
I just give you one requirement, okay? How do you design
Mm-hmm.
a security model where sales representative can only see opportunity assigned to their team, but sales manager can see all the opportunities? Okay. Again, I'm repeating my question is, how do you
Mm-hmm.
design a security model where sales representative can only see opportunity assigned to their team? Okay. But sales manager can only see all the opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, there is so just let me share my understanding with you since
Hmm.
it's related to security model. So
Hmm.
there is a sales team, and on top of the sales team, there is a sales representative, right? And
Right.
on top of sales representative, there lies his manager, which is sales
Correct.
manager.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so this is forming a hierarchy, and if
Right.
it's forming a hierarchy, I will go with the role. So say where because we know that
Hmm.
in role record sharing is made available in Salesforce. The one sitting on top of the hierarchy will be able to view the records of the one who is below under him in his hierarchy. So I will assign do the assignment of roles that as per that, so that basically I will make the I think you understood, right? So I'm what I'm trying to say,
Hmm.
that I will keep the sales manager on the top of hierarchy, and then under him I will keep the sales team representative, and under
Hmm.
him I will keep the sales team as per using the roles, so that record sharing will be visible to the manager. In that way, manager will be able to view the records of all the team members, whether it's sales team representative or sales team member. The
Hmm.
manager will be able to see all the records.
Okay. Okay. So
Mm.
now I have next question to you. Let's say you need to optimize a SQL query in large data volume environment. In your org, you have a, 1 million, or you can say lakh, or, 10 lakh, something you have, I mean, large
Mm-hmm.
amount of data in your system, right? And you need to
Right, right.
optimize your SQL queries. So that's what, system should not hit the governor limit. As we always more focus on our code should be
Mm-hmm.
optimized and it should have the good performance. And performance only increase if your code is
Mm.
not, getting so much SQL, so much DML operations, unnecessary things we don't want to process, right? So our agenda is like
Right.
we should optimize our code, and in the terms of optimize, we should optimize SQL queries or DML. So how you will be optimize your SQL queries while you are retrieving the data in, Apex class, batch class, or somewhere else as well.
Hmm. Right, right.
Yeah.
So
So
in Apex,
yeah,
when, yeah, am I audible, right?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So in Apex, yeah, I will try to optimize my SQL queries by using mostly I will try to use index fields in my SQL queries, and also in the queries, I will try to filter out the conditions properly. So like proper filtered are present in the query in the where after the where clause.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I will be fetching only the required uh, data from the query, and also I will make sure that no query is being done inside any for loop.
Mm-hmm.
And also for when I use and when first will I will show that any query is not being executed inside the query before executing the query. So in that way I will
Hello, people, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Hello.
Yeah, hi Rahul.
Yeah, sorry, I think there was some internet issue at my end. Can you
Okay.
please repeat the answer again?
Yeah, sure. So the answer for this is that I will try to optimize all the queries by putting in the required
Mm-hmm.
filters after the where clause, and I
Mm-hmm.
will also make sure that index fields are getting used in the SQL queries wherever in the code,
Mm-hmm.
and will make sure that if any for loop is getting used, then we are not using any query SQL query inside that for loop, and
Mm-hmm.
also I will prefer to use SQL for loop queries mostly, so that for loop is also working fine on those queries. And also will try to make optimize the results in the queries by putting in the required limits by using the keyword limit and offsets whenever required as per the business requirement as well.
Okay. Okay. That's great. Can you please share your screen? I need to give you one, triggers to write one for
Sure.
once.
I, yeah, just sent you a request
Yeah, I
for
just allowing you. Yeah. So let me ping you that in chat as well so you can easily
okay.
read this.
Okay. Yeah. So is my screen visible to you now?
1 second, let me I was just yeah, I think not yet. I can't see your screen now as of now.
Okay. Uh Maybe now it will be visible. Uh,
Sorry, let
yeah, just again I shared.
yeah, I think you have started screen. Yeah, now I can see your screen. If you see,
Okay.
this
Hmm.
chat, so you will be able to find my question. And
Sure.
if you are not able to understand anything, just let me know. If you are able to understand, then start writing trigger. Make sure you are following the best practices here. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let
Best
me
practice means
first.
like you don't need to write a helper class and all, but best practice means you have to, make sure like you are not hitting the governor limits as per your code. Okay.
Hmm.
Your code should be bulkified, should work for single record as well as for the multiple records.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Let me just. You need to write an apex trigger to ensure that when an opportunity is marked as closed on, all related contacts receive a follow-up task. How would you design this trigger? Okay, so I have to write this trigger.
Right, right.
Okay, I am now trying to write it, so it will take some time.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. But make sure it is not more than 7 to 8 minute task. Okay. Trying
More,
to,
not more than 7 to 8 minutes. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
because that only time which you'll get in interview, right? That's what I
Okay,
want,
got it.
like, okay.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Rahul. I think I have now completed up this task.
Okay. Let me review it. So you have a write it trigger on after update. Okay. So then you make it after trigger dot trigger dot hold. Okay, you are passing it here, and here you are receiving it. Okay. Okay, trigger dot hold map you are passing. Okay. Then what you are doing is you are iterating the all the opportunity list value, and then you are checking close one and one get one status. Okay, you are comparing it to the whole one, then you are adding in the set, then you are trying to find all the contacts. Okay, 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 okay. Then you're creating a task and you're assigning it, and then okay. Yeah, Vipul, it looks good, and also you are following the
Okay.
best practice. Okay,
Mm.
so we have left.
Just one more, just yeah, Rahul, if you don't mind, can just one thing I actually when was writing this trigger I wrote is that since opportunity I'm working on and I am collecting opportunity account ID.
Mhm.
I earlier when I was writing for the first time I just inserted the opportunity ID, but when I checked that which object I need to work with, so
Right,
there was contacts. So I
right.
thought the common link is account ID.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
there I changed it
Yeah, that's
and
not
then
a
I use
problem.
this.
I just need to check that logic, your approach, how you are
Okay,
doing. That maybe some
okay.
mistake is there. But yeah, make sure like, once you write your code, so after writing your
Mm-hmm.
code, just review it. It will not take more than 30
Okay.
seconds or 1 minute. Then you can say, okay,
Yeah.
I have done from my end. Okay. So this is the
Yeah.
best
Sure.
approach actually. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then I have, I think, 1 second, I have one few questions as well.
Yeah.
So, as you know, right, the order of execution and governor limits are very important factor in Salesforce, right? So,
Right.
how do you make sure while you are writing your Apex code, or we can say, right, making your flows and something, which is out of box. So, how you make
Mm-hmm.
sure like things are in, control? I mean, the hit Apex limit is not going to hit. How you'll make sure that?
Okay. So basically, for making sure that everything is going to work fine or apex limits will be fine as all and as per the order of execution. So we basically need to follow the best practices. So I will come. So for the declarative tools, flows and all. So for the flows also, we should only use one flow for one per object. Okay, one
Mm-hmm.
flow per object, and same as for triggers, we should follow one trigger per object and
Mm-hmm.
so basically whatever tasks are possible through the flows should be handled within the flows only, but if the logic is going to be complex, so we will be going to the apex, and if going to the apex we then need to take care of the best practices like that the trigger should be logicless and all the logic should be in the classes only, and
Mm-hmm.
which must be following the best practices related, like we should be using the list map and sets, that is collections, and the dmls should always be performed on these collections and but not inside a for loop, so dmls should be always outside the for loop, and sql queries should not be inside the for loops as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are few things related to the apex, and also we should avoid using hard code ids in our code as well, because that will make our code fail in different dogs. So regarding the dmls, I have mentioned the best practices in sql as well, and if the data set is going to be very large, and then I will be using the asynchronous apex path, And also one thing inside the working with the flows, I should also check that in if the flow is work also processing records, then that processing also should be bulkified inside the flow using the for loops and list sorry for loops and collections inside the flow also. So like we are using collections and flow for loops inside the flow.
Mhm.
So in that way the processing will be better. And regarding the apex, we should basically we should always like follow the best practices which I already mentioned.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Then move. I think we are left only with 3 minutes. But yeah.
Also, yeah, just one more thing is also there regarding the best practices. So the
Mhm.
triggers should also be working fine, and also we should also utilize and implement a trigger framework in our orgs, so that per trigger, per object, per trigger, and proper trigger framework is getting followed. So we know where the code execution is actually happening and where it is actually failing, in which context, that is after update or after insert. That's yeah.
Okay.
So that way, if our limit is also failing, we can actually analyze and correct it in the logs. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So, have you ever get a chance to, work on CPQ or other kind of product of Salesforce?
I have not worked with other products like CPQ, but
Mhm.
I have worked with a product named as Conga Composer.
Okay.
Yeah, so we worked on Conga Composer and helped our business users generate a automated Word file,
Mhm.
which fixed solved their problems, like automated info they were getting, and their manual work was reduced a lot. So I have used a Conga Composer as a product.
Okay. Okay. I think I have done from my end, Vipul. If you have any questions, you can ask me. For suggestion part, I'll connect with you later, right? And we can discuss, what
Hmm.
area you needs to improve. But yeah, you are on the, right track and you are doing good. But yes, some things, I mean, some parts where you can
Hmm.
more focus and you will be, more, we can
Yeah.
say more confident while you are facing the
Hmm.
interview and you can answer.
Right.
Okay. And one
Yeah.
more thing I want to give you one suggestion. Just also, nowadays, CPQ in demand and along CPQ Revenue Cloud also. So CPQ, it will not take much time. It will, hardly take you 10 to 15 days. You can, go through the trailheads or so many videos available on the YouTube. So
Hmm.
also try to complete that. That is, something which is additionally, I mean, you are aware about the sales process, right? So CPQ is
Right.
nothing but, they are just extending the sales process and making it easy for the sales user. So
Hmm.
I just want to give you one suggestion. Just try to explore that CPQ. It will not, much and hard. It is just the configuration part, and you will be able to more confident once you start in the trailheads. Definitely, you'll be not understanding the things by yourself. You can take the help from YouTube, and I'll be also, if you need my help, I'll be also there because I'm also
Sure. Sure.
CPQ configuration expert as well. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
thank you, Vipul. This call is going to be disconnected, I think. Okay. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
the call, and
Yeah.
I'll
Thanks a lot.
give you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Sorry, Rahul. I was not able to hear you last part.
Yeah, I'm saying like I'll be connecting with you on
Yeah.
offline for your feedback part.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Rahul.